Welcome back. It's always a good day here on WTOL 11.
And while today may be the day for love, holding on to those people you love should be an everyday endeavor.
Absolutely. But how do you cultivate and hold on to a long-lasting, loving relationship? Dr. Andrea Mata has some ideas. She joins us this morning. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You know, we celebrate these relationships today, right on Valentine's Day, but you know, some people, they might be like, I don't know, I'm not feeling this relationship right now. You know, but how do we maybe make things better or
keep that spark going?
Yes, yes.
I think that's a really great question. And so I think the biggest thing to keep in mind is you want to make sure that your ratio is right. And what I mean by that is that John Gottman, one of the leading experts on marriage and romantic relationships, he talks about the 5-to-1 ratio, and that you want to be having 5 positive interactions to every 1 negative interaction in order to maintain a stable and happy marriage.
Okay.
Now those couples that start to go like 1-to-1, like 1 positive to 1 negative, they're starting to teetering on like divorce or breakup just because you need more positivity.
Right.
And so one thing that I always tell people is that keep in mind whenever you do something negative to your partner, like you ignore their text or you don't like respond when they say something, like that drives me insane.
Yeah.
Just give me an okay. Like you have to then do 5 positive things to make up for that 1 negative thing. And that's exhausting, it sounds like.
And
yeah.
we're also not talking, you know, bigger items. You had mentioned even as small as, you know, ignoring a text or something. So as far as those positive things, should they be 5 big positives or even just 5 smaller positives?
They can be small positive things like saying hello, like you look nice, like hey, thank you, like showing those appreciation. Those small little acts can build up. They don't have to be these big like flowers and candy and gifts every day like that. That's just too much.
That's too much.
It's just little small things will maintain a high quality romantic relationship.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about someone acknowledging your presence. As you said, a hello, you walk into the room, oh, hi, you know.
Like
How
a
are you
touch,
today?
a little touch on the back, a hug, an embrace, a peck on the cheek.
Using the word beautiful, which seems pretty popular.
So, okay, the 5-to-1 ratio. So 5 positives for every 1 negative. Because we do know those negative things are going to happen. And when they do, I think we need to be careful about how we approach those negative situations. Maybe get into an argument or a fight or something like that.
Right, so conflict resolution is another big thing that's going to predict whether or not you divorce or break up. And so how you deal with those how you deal with those conflicts. And so one of the things that I talk about is like putting a pin in it. So when you are getting into a conflict and either person realizes that their emotions are high, that's when it's time to like pause, put a pin in it, take a break. I usually recommend somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes. Each person goes their separate ways, breathe, relax, bring down their emotions, and then come back and talk about it. Now, I know there's some people that like want to like attack the conflict right then and there, and then there's other people that are the processors and they need to like sit back. And it's like you really do need to respect the processors and give them that 15 to 20 minutes and kind of just sit back so that you guys can talk about it in a cool, calm, collected manner.
You don't want to be the person who gets charged and then you're saying things that you can't take back or you regret, you know, but if you have time to process it, you might go, okay, I can kind of see where he's coming from or she's coming from or whatever, and, you know, hash it out a little bit more civilly.
Right, because that's the other thing. It's like when our emotions are high, we start to do things that we don't actually mean or we regret, and we blame and we insult and we name call. And like you said, Amanda, like you can't take those things back.
And the biggest thing is really truly coming back after that 15 to 20 minutes because if we don't, then what?
Then you boil over and then it's,
I say call sweeping under the rug. Like you sweep under the rug and then all of a sudden you start to see the stuff under the rug because the mountain under the rug is just so high.
Yeah, so you got to come back to it, and you got to take care of it. You know, how about you know, maybe, like you mentioned, keeping that spark going? How do you make your relationship, you know,
that love to grow fonder?
Yes, yes.
So my favorite tip on how to like increase your positives is like discomfort makes the heart grow fonder. And so what we want to do with this is you want to engage in self-expanding activities together.
Okay.
So not just like your movie and, you know, dinner dinner, date nights, like those are good, but you also want to throw in self-expanding activities. So
Axe
axe throwing. Have you done that before?
No,
We were talking about it at the top of the show.
I was afraid.
It's a big thing in Michigan. They like to do the axe throwing, so we're like, okay.
So let's say I go.
Yeah.
It's not in your comfort zone.
Yes, that's my comfort zone. So, ooh, that sounds terrifying.
What sounds terrifying about it?
I could get hurt.
So there's a great place in Perrysburg. I think it's like 419 axe throwing. My husband and I just went there probably a few months ago for our first time, and they have great people there, and they actually like will sit there and like coach you.
Okay.
And so we had this old gentleman come up to me and he's like, okay, do it like this instead of this. And I was like, okay. But yeah, like that was a great experience.
Yeah, because was that out of your comfort zone?
It was totally out of my comfort zone. It was out of my husband's comfort zone. We had planned to do it like months ago with another couple, but then at dinner my husband got sick, so we couldn't go. So then we're like, all right, let's try this
do
again.
it. Yeah. So things like that, maybe cooking together, taking a class together, art class together, you know, things like that.
Snowmobiling, water skiing.
The sky's the limit.
Yes. Anything that pushes you outside of your comfort zone.
Okay, maybe not skydiving. I'll try axe throwing before that.
Some great ideas so this morning. Thank you so much for joining us today, and have a great Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Enjoy yourself.